You have 15 years coaching experience in D1. It's now your second year here at Temple. What is your outlook and your expectations for this season?
Well, you go into any year not always knowing what your team has just because you don't get to play preseason games. All you do is get to practice up until your first game. But last year, not knowing the club, I didn't have very high expectations. But this year, I've got some high expectations for our team.
So last season, your team was under 500 for the season. How do you plan on turning that around and maybe having a positive season this year?
Well, the biggest thing that I think we lacked last year was confidence. We didn't understand what it took to win ball games, especially late in the year. Of our 34 losses, 17 of them were by 3 runs or less. So we've spent a lot of time working on trying to build that confidence, trying to play as many live scrimmages and live competitive situations as possible to put them in pressure situations so that they can respond when the games actually count.
Well, now talking about that, you have a bunch of new guys. Steve Nicorak, he was selected by the White Sox last year, and he was a big player in your team. Who do you think will help contribute and step up this year and help? I know you have Mike Diaconti and Frank DiAugustino. You were talking about possibly helping produce on bats.
Right. It's always hard to replace a guy like Steve Nicorak that provided a lot of offense and defense for the club as well as leadership. So I think it's going to have to be a collection of guys, especially early in the season. Some of the newcomers like Derek Peterson, Mike Diaconti, and Frank DiAugustino, I think can provide that offense that we missed. Henry Kanabe and Elijah Yarborough have been doing a great job defensively at third base. And I think as the season gets going, maybe 1 or 2 of those guys will emerge to say replace Steve, but it's always hard to replace a guy like Steve.
Absolutely.
So in your first 2 games this season, you let up 8 runs and you produced 3 and 4 in the respective 2 games. Would you say it's an offensive struggle or a defensive struggle you're seeing so far early in the season?
I was very pleased with the way we played defensively down there. We only made a few errors on the day. Offensively, I thought we swung the bat well. We faced a couple tough pitchers for both Delaware and Wright State. I think we need to do a better job on the mound. We got to throw more strikes. We've got to have more command of the zone and force contact and let our defense work behind our pitchers.
Hopefully all those things come together. Thanks for stopping by, Coach.
You bet.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. Good
All
luck
right.
for the season.
Thanks. Take care.
All right, well, we've heard what Coach thinks about this upcoming season, but I wanted to see what his guys think as well. So I caught up with them after their return from North Carolina this past weekend. It's Temple University's 85th baseball season, and it's their last in the A-10 conference before moving to the Big East next year. The team traveled to North Carolina to open their season.
I mean, the best thing overall was just getting on the field. I mean, we haven't been on the field since we scrimmaged Penn in the fall, which was October.
It was a test to see how well we were prepared. Got hit around a little bit.
The beginning of the season is always tough, especially being a team from the north, being stuck in the gyms here. I think we're going to be fine. I think we're more prepared than we've ever been.
Matt Hockenberry, Eric Peterson, and Dan Muller were last year's primary pitchers. With the addition of Ryan Keene and Preston Hill, this team has some depth when it comes to the bullpen.
I believe our pitching staff is as strong as it's really ever been. We've got a lot of young guys who have a lot of talent.
The pitching has been very tough. We've been facing them all preseason, and they look a lot better than they did last year.
I've seen our pitchers work their tails off. They really found out. Our relievers did a great job. Both starters look good, and our pitching is definitely going to be one of our assets this season.
Skip Wilson Field, home of Temple baseball, isn't located as close as other Temple athletics, but the team feels that fan support could really help them this season.
It definitely helps the atmosphere and the energy, and if you can get a couple hundred people there to watch and play, it makes the atmosphere so much better, and it just makes the game so much more fun to play.
Keep watching us on the game tracker. Come out to Antler, support us. Really appreciate it.
The Owls head south to take on Virginia Tech for a doubleheader on Friday and Saturday. And they are on the road for 9 additional games until the weather warms up a little bit. So their first game will be at home on March 13th versus Lafayette.